Barley the Bear and the Very Peculiar Picnic. It was a gentle kind of morning in Mosswood Forest, the kind where the clouds were fluffy like whipped cream, the air smelled faintly of honey and pine, and everything felt just right. And Barley the Bear had a plan. You see, Barley wasn't just any bear. He was the kind of bear who preferred buttered toast to fish, who hummed when he walked, and who took picnics very seriously, especially springtime picnics. So that morning, Barley packed his favorite blanket, the one with blue checks and a jam stain in the corner, his wicker basket, the one that squeaked when you carried it just so, and enough snacks to feed himself and 6 friends, even though he'd only invited 3. Because, as Barley often said, it's better to have too many sandwiches than not enough smiles. He packed 4 jam sandwiches, strawberry because raspberry tickled his nose, a small jar of clover honey, a lemon cake with slightly uneven frosting, and a thermos of warm mint tea. Then, with the basket over one arm and the blanket under the other, he set off down the winding path humming his picnic tune. Oh, jam on bread and bees that buzz, a sunny day is what it was, with cake to share and tales to spin. Let's let the gentle lunch begin. As Barley reached the meadow clearing, the one near the bendy oak and the sleepy daffodils, he laid out the blanket, fluffed the corners, and sat down with a satisfied sigh. Now then, he said, peeking at his basket, all I need are my friends. He looked around. No one. He checked his little pocket watch, just on time, but minutes passed and still no friends. First came a rustle. Barley? Said a quiet voice. It was Fern the fox, her orange fur looking extra ruffled. I'm sorry I'm late, she said. I stopped to help a hedgehog turn over. He was stuck on his back and feeling rather dizzy. Barley smiled. That's the best reason to be late I've ever heard. Come sit. Next came a flurry of feathers and a soft hoo as Pine the owl fluttered down, wearing his little sun hat at a slight angle. Apologies, he said, blinking. I fell asleep in the sunlight. Dreamed I was a kite. A very wise kite, I imagine, said Barley. Sit wherever feels right. Then came Wren the rabbit, bouncing and breathless. I thought I saw rain clouds and ran back for my umbrella, she panted, but it was only a puff of pollen. Well, said Barley, you'll be the only dry one if a sneeze turns into a storm. They all laughed, and so, with everyone finally gathered, the very peculiar picnic began. Now, it should have been an ordinary picnic. It had all the parts, the blanket, the food, the friends. But something odd kept happening. Each time Barley reached for something in the basket, it wasn't quite what he packed. First, the honey jar had tiny glittering stars inside. Well, said Pine, perhaps the bees have taken up astronomy. Then the sandwiches were filled not with jam, but poetry. Fern read one aloud. Between the bread where jam should be, a poem waits to dance with tea. They all clapped. Even the lemon cake had changed. When sliced, it played a tinkly tune that sounded suspiciously like Barley's picnic song. Well, Barley said, blinking with delight, this is not what I packed, but it's rather lovely all the same. They ate the stardust, which turned out to be crunchy sugar crystals, sipped tea that now changed flavor with every sip, mint, then peach, then something that tasted like laughter, and told stories long into the golden part of the afternoon. And as the sun began to lower itself behind the hills, like a sleepy child curling up in a blanket, Barley lay back on the grass with a full belly and a fuller heart. This has been the most peculiar picnic, he said. Fern nodded. The best ones often are. Pine blinked slowly. It's funny, sometimes, when things don't go as planned, they go even better. Wren cuddled closer. I think we made a little magic. Barley smiled. Maybe the picnic didn't come from my basket, but from something else. He placed his paw on his chest. From in here. That night, as stars painted the sky and fireflies blinked their lullabies, Barley packed up what was left of the picnic, which, curiously, wasn't much. Just the blue checkered blanket with one more jam stain. And the memory of a day that didn't follow any recipe, but turned out perfect anyway. Moral values woven into the story. 1. Flexibility. Things may not go as planned, but they can still be wonderful. 2. Friendship. A shared experience, even a strange one, is richer with good friends. 3. Magic in the everyday. Sometimes the ordinary holds unexpected joy if we stay open to it.